joining us at the Property Investor Show, Autumn Edition. And right now I'm joined by 3 of the 5 Property Summits gang. I've got Richard, Tony and Nick joining me. John and Paul have had to go on to other seminars. And guys, it's so exciting to be back at an in-person event, isn't it? There's a really wonderful buzz here.
It's amazing how much we've missed in-person contact, and coming here today has been fantastic.
And you've had a very successful panel debate as well, and you had some, I just caught the end of it, and you had some really, really interesting questions.
It's been brilliant, to get back out there and pick up those questions, and compared to the one that we're going to be doing in November, that was just a glimpse of some of the stuff that will be coming up in Cobham on the 6th of November.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about now, because we've got the, I guess it's the first and the last kind of in-person Property Summits event of 2021. Obviously, previously affected by COVID, had to pivot and go online, so great that you're going to be back in person. 6th of November, as we said. Nick, we're at a free event. Property Summits is a paid-for event. I think it's a really good question to ask. What are they going to get from a paid-for event that they wouldn't get from a free event?
Yeah, I think it's a particularly poignant question at the moment. There's obviously lots of education out there that perhaps might be described as substandard. We're trying to change that industry, and you'll know through the work we all do through our forums and our businesses that we're there trying to help investors learn the right way, learn the safe way, and ultimately stop them losing money and getting the right level of education at the right price. So it's £250 for an early bird ticket. That'll go up to £300 after X number of ticket sales. I can't quite remember now. Paul runs the ticket sales for us, he's not here. But ultimately, we believe that's very fair value for a whole day's talks. We all do presentations on various areas. I'm doing a talk on the property development process, which I find critical. I'm sure the chaps will mention what they're talking about in a moment. But we also have some exhibitors coming there who will be doing their talks. Huge networking day. I mean, it's probably one of the best niche networking days you can have. It's kind of a property development special, this one, and each one we try and tailor to a certain subject. So we want to go into a lot more detail than you might get at some other day seminars.
It's interesting, Richard, because one of the questions asked in the panel debate by a lovely lady called Abby, she said, how do you go from being a standard buy-to-let investor, which we all agree is a very good place to start, it's low risk, you can learn your craft, hone your skills. How do you go from that to your first development? And I think that the Property Summits Development Special is actually that next step, isn't it?
That's a really good question, and the day is designed for that. It's designed to cover all the aspects of development, from financing, from searching for a plot, from working with your team. It's designed to cover the whole process, and it will help you make that decision as to what sort of development can I do, should I do, where would I do it, what sort of strategy would I take. So it's very much about the fundamentals of development.
And Tony, you had some good questions as well, and you were very much about you have to have structure to what you're doing, know where you want to go, and then almost kind of reverse engineer from that. So I'm guessing that the Property Summits Development Special will kind of take people on that journey?
Absolutely. It's all about finding out why you're doing it. Should you be a property developer or should you stay as a landlord? And then you're absolutely right, reverse engineering it back to how to find the projects, how to research them, how to get the right team, how to get the right financial management in place, and most importantly, how you should structure the end-to-end, so you start where you want to finish, and then build that team, the project, the research, the due deal, the financing, all around that. And for a one-day event, you'll find out very quickly whether or not you should be a property developer. And there's absolutely no upsell from us, any of the other speakers.
And that's a key point, going back to the cost issue. The only thing we upsell is the feedback forms at the events we do to say, come along and come and watch it. But for that 250 quid for an early bird, that's it. We don't upsell anything. And I think the industry's got a bad name for hiding upsells. I'm personally, and I know the guys on the panel are, big believers in making sure that people understand what that education funnel looks like and they can choose it appropriately, not be sold into it unknowingly. I think that's the key.
I would say I don't see you guys as part of the wealth creation industry at all with what you're doing. I see that you've actually created your own niche, and I think it's so important that there are events like this that have people. I think between you've got over 150 years of experience. Most of that's John, we know that. And also, you've got the different disciplines that you cover every aspect of it. Nick, I think it's a very interesting time to have a kind of development focused summits, because obviously you being a developer yourself, and this did crop up in your panel debate, was we're facing supply shortages, rising costs. We've got, John was talking in one of his videos recently about staff being off because of COVID. All of these things, it's hard enough being a developer without all of this. So will summits be kind of helping people manage these very turbulent times?
Oh, very much so. I think all of us have been through at least one or two recessions. I've been through two, so that means you chaps have been through two. John's been through 7, I think he said, didn't he? But no, we've tailored our businesses. We've put systems in place. We work with the right people. When we instruct new people, like for example in development, instructing a contractor, checking them out, making sure you work with trusted contractors. We go through, as I said on the last panel we went over, we go into huge due diligence on the contractor we're working with to make sure they've got a margin that can cope for the ups and downs of material prices and whatnot, getting fixed price contracts, and we're basically managing the whole supply chain from start to finish as a business, making sure your tax from day one and your corporate structure set up to be most efficient. If you fall down on that thing alone, you'll make no profit. Section 24 would wipe you out. Other tax issues can wipe you out. I've spent literally hundreds of thousands of pounds on tax I probably shouldn't have if I hadn't met Tony and the team behind Tony at Chris Bailey Accountants to help us formulate the right strategies. And working with these guys is invaluable. So every step, and that's why I think we've got sorry, I'm waffling on, but I think we've got a varied panel. I think we've got different facets on the panel, so the day is very detailed in a number of different areas, so you come away with good insight into all those areas to be able to go and run your business more effectively.
Yeah.
I think I would describe it that you get the steak, not just the sizzle.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
That's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you also get lunch, so it's a paid event. The money covers the venue. We're not making profit out of this. We're doing this because we believe in changing the industry. We want to help people genuinely get on the ladder. Of course, we have businesses to sit behind it, but we're not going to stuff those in your face. If you like us and want to work with us, we have our businesses and we can talk to you about that. But the day is to cover the cost of the venue, a nice lunch for everyone, and a fantastic networking event.
That's it, basically. That's what it's all about.
Well, I'm going to be there as well, because I'm going to be doing a very short presentation on behalf of Landlord, and I'm going to be talking about the digitisation of the property developer journey and how there are some fantastic tools, including Landlord, out there that help mitigate risk. And I think we are in an environment where we're going to have to mitigate risk like never before. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think that came up in the panel upstairs. Actually, I think being agile and being flexible and reacting to things as they happen is probably the thing that we most have to do at the moment, because no one knows what tomorrow is going to look like, 6 months or 2 years, who knows. So as long as you're agile and you're flexible and you're close to things, then and any systems you can have that will improve that, all the better, I think.
And I think we've all made lots of mistakes. Property development, property investing is a series of mistakes. Anyone that wants to get into property investing should think very carefully about doing it. If you're the type of person that can deal with constant issues, whether it's tenants and toilets is one of Tony's phrases. There you go, I've nicked it now.
Absolutely.
Tenants and toilets, where the bodies are buried.
Yeah.
I'm going to start sounding like Tony in a few more years if I'm not careful. But it's just a series of mistakes and issues and problems you have to deal with. And you've got to be a very entrepreneurial type of person to want to get involved in that. And I guess, we're there to help people learn from our mistakes, apart from anything else. And help them try and not make them, to accelerate their growth in whatever they choose to do, investing or developing.
Well, they can let your hindsight be their foresight. Yes.
Excellent.
Perfectly put.
Perfectly put.
Right. So that is the 6th of November at Cobham, Hilton Cobham, just down the road from me, actually. I'll be there, and the 5 property summiters will be there. It's going to be a fantastic day out. We will put a link below the video so you can buy your tickets. But guys, I think this is going to be a really great day to set people up for the challenges ahead. I've heard from Graham Rowan just earlier today. He's expecting tax to go up very significantly next year. Don't know what you think, Tony, but there's more to come. We haven't got through the storm yet, have we?
No, the state's coffers need to be replenished, but it will be bigger businesses that will bear the burden of it. The new residential development tax, 25 million will actually be the turnover or the profit threshold. So the individuals will pay more, but this current government is actually far more inclusive when it comes to the tax take, and will distribute it a lot more fairly than any Tory government has ever done before. But yes, taxes will rise. The government has put its hand in its pocket a long way, and without that, I think would have all been in a lot worse situation.
And you've got to remember that there are problems coming ahead with tax or whatever it might be, but like every problem that's gone before us, we find a way through it, and we share our knowledge. The 5 of us share our knowledge together, and we share that with the people that we network with. So it's all about knowledge sharing, it's all about helping others, and ultimately, how do we get through the next problem that comes up? Because I'm sure there will be more.
And it's done with a smile and a bit of banter. And that's what I like about it. No, it's highly recommended. 6th of November, Cobham, Hilton. Guys will be there. I'll be there. You want to be there. We'll see you there.